Test. Hey. Test.
There was a photo shoot written, right? Where? There will be a photo. Yeah, like the end. Okay. Yes. Stop fighting, please.
They're friends.
Are you from the same kind of batch?
Yes, so she joined probably 7-8 months before. And we kind of moved out also together. Second. First cohort and second cohort.
Okay. How many cohort is now?
Total 3 cohort, but around 7 to 8 people in each cohort. Yes. It's total 27, yeah.
And this is a lifetime bonding, right? This is something that...
Yeah. So I'm affiliated, she is affiliated with Churchill, I'm affiliated with Trinity. So it's like I got an... Darwin, sorry, yeah. And so I got alumni status also.
There are two. I can't pass by. There are one on the fellows guest night. This side of these paintings. Which is Churchill painting.
There is a portrait.
No, this is good painter. So you
Is it gonna fly? Is it gonna?
Yeah. So you can.
Probably many Turkish
Should be a bell.
No, there's a gavel.
I see. So that's when time's up.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I may trigger that. Oh, I see.
Must be because 1 minute and 40. Yeah. 6 minutes. Okay. 1 minute.
Oh, that's this power box.
change sides. I told you, he cannot do that.
Maybe he's a spy.
He's trying. You know, he's trying to get information, so it's unfair.
Social research.
He already supports the motion.
Don't put me to sleep, please. No, 7 minutes.
Do you want to grab them on here? Sorry, I should have said.
Same on the other side, notes there. And you're the final.
My we don't have people. I mean, near.
You can sit in front of it.
Yeah, I know. And also there's
To be only one person.
yeah.
must go on. Yeah. CTR.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends. It's a very welcome you in the historical Cambridge Union debating chamber. And everyone join us via our live YouTuber broadcast from the global. It's a very great pleasure and a very real privilege to welcome you to this tonight formal debate. This debate is organized as one part of our joint conference. Tonight, we bring together researchers, participants, industry partners from the global, and we will exchange ideas on one of the most important topics. This question will shape the future of our disciplines. Before we begin, I would like to express my appreciation to Professor Yanis Brilakis and also the conference organizing committee to make this wonderful event possible. Their delegation helped us with the very unique opportunity to gather everyone in this such wonderful event. My name is Wei Wei Chen. Now I'm an associate professor in digital construction at Bartlett School of Sustainable Construction at University College London. And also I'm serving as the Deputy Director of Research and the Program Leader in UCL. But today, it's my honor to be the debate moderator this evening. Whenever you are joining us here in Cambridge and watching online, and thanks will all begin to us, and I hope you enjoy the permission and the inspiring topic tonight. I hope you'll have a very inspiring and memorable evening. And now, I would like to delighted to introduce our debate chair, Professor Lucio Subman from the University of South California, who is going to chair this tonight's event. Professor Lucio Subman is an internationally recognized leader in construction engineering and digital technology for the built environment. Before entering the academic, he spent more than 10 years in the construction industry and later earned his PhD from the MIT. And afterwards, he held the faculty position at the University of Illinois, Carnegie Mellon University, and now in the University of Southern California, where the Professor Lucio Subman also served as a chair of the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering. His research spanned AI, construction robotics, sensing technology, and also the advanced infrastructure system. He already published over 250 publications, and also he led the numerous major research projects. And also he received many prestigious honors, including the election as an ASCE membership, and also the membership in the National Academy of Construction. So please join me in inviting our Professor Lucio Subman, a very welcome. Now I want to hand over our debate chair, so who will explain the format of the debate and also introduce the motion and the all speakers. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you everyone for your attendance. And it's a pleasure to have you all here. So I will start by explaining the format of the debate tonight. There are 3 speakers on each team, and each being allocated 7 minutes to speak. For the speakers on both teams, you may address the speakers in the other team during their speech for what you call points of information. You need to clearly shout on that point or point of information. The speaker in the other team can ignore you. So can choose whether or not to take up. Please respect their choice. Please note that no points of information may be raised during the first and last minute of each speaker's time. And no points of information will be taken from the audience. After the first 4 speakers, there will be an open floor discussion for about 20 minutes. During this time, anyone here is welcome to add their own points in support or in opposition to the motion, or indeed in abstention. Please make sure that you do not address any of the speakers personally, only their arguments. When voting, please consider who you felt delivered the most persuasive argument this evening. For those not familiar with voting, you vote here with your own foot. Okay? Leave your room through the doors. Eyes, for the non-British, yes. And nose, no, in the back of the chamber. The ones in the middle are the ones that are abstaining. There is no fire alarm planned for today. If an alarm goes off, run for your life. Okay? Please follow the fire exit. It's not a practice. Okay? Follow the directions to the lawn in front of the building. Final note to the speakers. Ms. May Jinying will be acting as the timekeeper, so I'm not the bad cop. Okay. And she will have 1 minute left. She will tell you when you have just 1 minute and when your time is out. Now moving to the motion of the debate for this night. This House believes that automation will reduce the number of jobs in the built environment. I'd like now to present you the speaking members of each team. It's not an easy task being a speaker for the debate, so please show your support to them. In the proposition team, you have Professor Shabtai Isaac, Dr. Varun Reja, and Peter Lang. In the opposition here in my left, you have Professor Henry Kerali, Dr. Jinying, and Professor Jakob Beetz. So let's start with Professor Shabtai Isaac. First, he's the first speaker, and he is a professor in the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering at Ben-Gurion University of the Negev in Israel. He received his PhD in civil engineering from the Technion, Israel Institute of Technology, in 2021. His research focuses on digital construction, design management, construction safety, building evacuation, and applications of automation and intelligent technologies in the built environment. Through his work, he has made significant contributions to advancing safer, smarter, and more efficient construction projects. In addition to his academic research, Professor Isaac is an active leader in the international construction research community, serving on the board of the directors of the International Association for Automation and Robotics in Construction, IARC, and one of the world leading organizations promoting innovation and automation in construction. Professor Shabtai Isaac, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, tonight we'll debate whether AI and automation will reduce the number of jobs in the built environment. We believe it will, but to explain why, I need to define a bit more precisely what we mean with this statement. Employment generally is a product of two factors. The first factor is total output. In our case, how many buildings and infrastructure are constructed and maintained. The second factor is labor intensity. How many workers, or more precisely worker hours, do we require in order to produce a unit of output? In our case, a square meter of building or a kilometer of road. We believe we should focus on the second factor, on labor intensity, because it will be affected directly by automation. The first factor, on the other hand, output, will be affected by various aspects, such as economic growth, population migration, that are not the topic of today's debate. Automation will reduce labor intensity by transferring tasks from people to machines. AI will make it easier to deploy automation by supporting various things such as the programming of robots, locating them with machine vision, or data integration. The workers that will be directly affected by this are primarily workers carrying out physical tasks that can be implemented by autonomous systems instead. Those are the skilled trades, the construction laborers on sites, the people who maintain buildings. This is a long-term prediction. We cannot know with certainty what will happen in the coming years as automation is adopted at different rates, as the industry reorganizes itself, as the number of jobs may fluctuate, may rise or fall. But the long-term trend is very clear. AI and automation will spread, productivity will rise, and fewer worker hours will be required for each unit of output. Why is this happening now? Well, we are in the midst of two revolutions. The first revolution is the AI revolution we all know about. The second revolution is the construction robotics revolution some of you may be less familiar with. It started in China in 2018, and we now have dozens of different types of construction robots that are not only commercially produced, they are actually bought and used by contractors on real construction sites. Let me give you two examples. A typical housing complex in Hong Kong, a floor of apartments requires 8 painters to paint all the walls. But this can now be done with painting robots, and it requires only 2 robot operators. That's a 75% reduction of the manpower required. Or another example, earth-moving works. A dozer grades the soil, a compactor follows it. These used to require 2 human operators. Now we have autonomous compactors automatically following the dozer. 1 worker instead of 2, a 50% reduction. Automation will reduce the number of jobs. It will also change the skill mix. Instead of laborers, we'll need technicians, programmers, engineers, people with higher skills who will be paid better salaries and will do less dangerous work. But the ratios are important here. It's not a substitution of 1-to-1. A smaller crew will be able to deliver the same output. One could argue that in the end, this will also reduce production costs. And then there will be a rise in demand, which will somehow compensate for the loss of jobs. Well, first of all, it's not certain that prices will go down. Secondly, even if they do, they'll have to go down by 50 to 75%. But the cost of construction is primarily a cost of land, material, and finance, not the cost of labor. This scenario is therefore highly unlikely. A second counter-argument could be the opposite one. Automation is too expensive. Contractors will not want to adopt it. This also runs counter to the reality in which contractors are currently find it very difficult to find the workers they need. There is a severe labor shortage. It exists here in the UK. It exists in other developed countries. It exists in developing countries all over the world. And this is mainly because of 2 trends: rising living standards. People are less willing to carry out harsh, dangerous work. And dropping fertility rates. There are simply less people to fill in those jobs. So for contractors, it's not a choice of workers versus autonomous systems. They have no choice. They have to start adopting these systems in order to be able to carry out the work that they want to execute, maybe at a higher cost. To conclude, it is very hard to predict the future. Actually, it's impossible. What we can try to do is to identify the most likely scenario. That is our job tonight. And the most likely scenario here is clear. Automation will reduce the size of crews. I've given you a few examples. My team members will give you additional ones. AI will make it easier to deploy this automation. In the short term, in the next few years, employment may fluctuate. We don't really know for sure. But over the next few decades, it is clear. Each unit of output, each square meter of a building or kilometer of a road will require fewer worker hours, will require smaller crews. The skill mix will change. New jobs will appear, probably better ones, but they will be fewer in number because the ratios here are decisive. We have 2 jobs instead of 8, or 1 job instead of 2. This is therefore a real reduction in jobs, and we therefore believe that the proposition should be supported. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Professor Shabtai, for your speech. So now joining us as the first speaker from the opposing team is Professor Kerali. Kerali studied civil engineering and obtained a PhD from the University of Birmingham here in UK in 1986, focusing on transport for development. He subsequently joined the academic staff as a research fellow and was appointed a full professor in 2001. Professor Kerali led the international research program that developed HDM4, a cost-benefit analysis model used worldwide to assess the economic feasibility of road investments. He joined the World Bank in 2003 and was appointed director in 2012, covering various countries, including Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia, West Africa, and finally Afghanistan, based in Kabul from 2019. He retired from the World Bank in 2022 after serving for nearly 20 years. Professor Kerali is a fellow and a chartered civil engineer with experience in a broad range of projects within the transport sector. Henry, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. I will start, if you would allow me, with a few definitions of some keywords from the motion that we are debating today. And for the benefit of the audience, I actually used the Cambridge Dictionary. We'll start with automation. Automation is the use of machines and computers that can operate without constant human control automatically and performing tasks. Second is jobs. This is regular work that people do to earn incomes. And a key point here for the audience to note is that the motion concerns the number of jobs, not their content, not their location, not the skill mix, but the total number of jobs. I'll come back to that later. Third, I'd like to define the built environment. The built environment is all human-made surroundings that provide the setting for human activity, influencing human wealth, well-being, and social interactions. Mr. Chairman, let me start with an overview of our key arguments on the opposition side. First, we acknowledge that automation and AI may reduce some types of jobs, but we argue that this will result in an overall change in the mix of jobs, more than simply shrinking the total number of jobs, particularly in the built environment, and I'm going to come back to why. Second, automation is actually not suited for jobs that involve core human skills like accountability, empathy, ethical judgment, creativity, negotiations, leadership, teamwork, and so on. Jobs utilizing these skills will not disappear. And this is why you're all here at the university. You're learning those core human skills. The type of jobs that you will get will not be replaced by automation. Third, as I mentioned, automation may reduce employment in some occupations where tasks are repetitive, predictable, high risk, and can be automated, such as in manufacturing in particular, or in environments that are unsafe for human tasks to be performed. Nevertheless, we believe that automation leads to lower costs and thereby enhances productivity. And I was pleased to note that the proposition also accepted this. Fourth point we'll make is that this debate is not new. If you go back to the 19th century, the 20th century, and so on, this point has been made. And I'll come back with more details on this. Even in the industrial sector, which will be most affected by automation, the data does not actually support the argument. What we know, for example, is that in advanced economies like in the US, economies have shed industrial jobs. True, numbers of jobs have gone down in the US, but the number of industrial jobs in the Far East has much more than compensated. And this is the point about pure numbers. If we look at pure numbers of jobs in the industrial sector, they've actually gone up over the decades. Mr. Chairman, I will now delve deeper into some of these points and give you some examples. Starting, of course, with history. In the 19th century, Karl Marx was quoted as saying, "Machinery does not just act as a superior competitor to the worker, but is on the point of making him superfluous." Note the gender lack of balance at that time. In 1930, John Maynard Keynes, a well-known British economist, warned of widespread unemployment arising from technology and automation. Now, these are the 19th and 20th century. Despite these fears, if you actually look at job numbers over the last 2 centuries, they have more than trebled, not reduced. So the earliest forms of automation, and again I was pleased that the proposition acknowledges the use of construction equipment. Would we have the built environment as it is today if we didn't have automation? If we didn't have the construction equipment? Would manual labor be able to build what you have now? I doubt it. Automation, of course, has transformed lives. Life expectancy has improved, and consequently, production has become more efficient and consumption has increased. And that is the point we are making with numbers. You're consuming more compared to what would have been the case before. As I mentioned, core human skills will not be replaced, but human skills can be trained to do more. I'd like to give one example. Amazon, founded in 1994, now employs 1.6 million people worldwide. How much automation does Amazon have? It is the most automated company in the world. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to conclude with a focus on the built environment. As noted earlier, the built environment will continue to expand simply because of urbanization. According to the UN World Urbanization Prospectus, about 20% of the global population of 500 million lived in cities in 1950. By 2025, this had gone to over 3.6 billion, and it is projected to go to 6.1 billion by 2050. Where will all these people live? We have to expand the built environment. In other words, we need jobs. Finally, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to remind the audience that the proposition has a burden of proof, that the total numbers of jobs will go down, not the type of jobs. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Professor Kerali, for your speech. Let's go back to the proposition team. Our second speaker is Dr. Varun Reja. Dr. Varun Reja is an assistant professor of civil engineering at IIT Bombay, specializing in digital construction and smart infrastructure management. Previously, he was a Marie Skłodowska-Curie Fellow at the University of Cambridge and a member of the Postdoctoral Society of Trinity College, in Cambridge. His research focused on automation in construction, digital twins, and AI for the built environment. He holds a joint PhD from IIT Madras and the University of Technology of Sydney and has received the EC3 Thorpe Medal and the IAI Sir Arthur Cotton Memorial Prize for his contributions to digital twins. Varun, the floor is yours.
Thank you, respected Chair. Good evening to the members of the House, ladies and gentlemen. So Professor Isaac established the central research question which we are arguing about. It is not about that there will be no construction workers. It is not about that there will be no new jobs. and it is very much not about that there will be a sudden collapse in workforce tomorrow. It is about, does the technology allow the same output to be delivered by fewer people? Clearly, the answer is yes. I would also like to thank the opposition to kind of bring in few arguments which were kind of expected. The first one being, construction is unique and cannot be automated as manufacturing. We disagree with this point. Why? Because construction itself is built from many tasks. These tasks, it's a bundle of tasks. These tasks are like painting, material handling, rebar tying, etc. All these tasks are repetitive, and robots are very, I will say, good in doing the repetitive tasks again and again. I agree that some parts are left to human creativity but we see from the last decade or two, these creative jobs are also being taken over by generative design and automation. Second thing which the opposition pointed, that there will be human in the loop always. Obviously, there will be human in the loop, but there will be fewer human in the loop. It will not be human heavy. We are not saying that human will be totally eradicated. Professor Isaac gave an example of robots. Initially, there were 8 workers who kind of were doing the painting job. But after the company decided to put on the robots, as well as there were only 2 laborers who were required to kind of take care of the robot. So there will be humans in the loop, but the loop will not be human heavy. We also like to highlight one point, that there is already a labor shortage. The point that opposition kept about expanding infrastructure. We need labor. In some countries, particularly in the South Asian countries, there is a lot of labor shortage because people are not coming to the sector. There is no kind of option for a contractor to not go to this robotics or automated solutions. So they are forced to go to these automated solutions because there is because of the already labor shortage. They say that the opposition also made a point that it creates new jobs, and these new jobs will be kind of equivalent to the job it has been taken. We disagree with that. The new jobs will be more specialized, more focused. If you are removing 100 unskilled laborers and you are replacing it with 1 robot, obviously there will be a robotic engineer that will be required to develop the robot. There will be a team of working. But this product developed will be deployed on multiple construction sites, reducing labors from everywhere. Now, we all are from science background. Probably, yes. Let us focus more towards the evidence part of it. I would like to, put in some examples, some real-world examples from here. So there is a study from Stanford. They compared, it's a peer-reviewed study. They compared 10 robots across 12 real construction projects involving 11 different contractors. Across the cases, robot reduced repetitive site work by 25 to 90%. Another example is from a company called Dusty Robotics. This is again a peer-reviewed study. They used robots on one side to mapping the layout of the building for MEP works. On the other hand, they did with human operators. The study found a 68% reduction in the total labor hours and an 18% shorter layout duration. Another example, there is a company called TieBot. They have a robot for tying the rebars. There is a bridge in Pennsylvania known as Koppel Bridge. So they had 4 segments. The 2 segments were done by human laborers. Another 2 segments were done by the robots. The recorded data showed 34% savings in both personal hours and work duration. All these personal hours directly contribute to reduced labor usage on construction sites. Another example from a Hilti. There is a Hilti J-bot, which is used to kind of drill holes onto the roofs. It is not a very ergonomically pleasing task. Many of the workers don't like to do that also. Hilti deployed this on a construction site. The 270 seconds per hole time was reduced to 48 seconds per hole. The machine is not just efficient, it is very efficient, and it automatically drills holes where required. Obviously, there is an operator with the machine, but not multiple operators working on the construction site. With this, I would like to conclude that we have seen examples from different countries. We have seen examples from different contractors. We have seen different tasks in the examples and different robots. But the same result every time. There will be fewer humans required for the same amount of tasks, and that's why we support this motion. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Reja, for your speech. Now we hear from Dr. Jinying. Dr. Jinying is an assistant professor in the Department of the Built Environment, College of Design and Engineering, National University of Singapore, NUS. Before joining NUS, she was another Marie Curie Fellow with the Future Roads Fellowship Program in the Department of Engineering at the University of Cambridge, where her fellowship project was on using data science and information technologies to automate carbon data analytics. Her research aims to advance digitalization, intelligence, and sustainability of the built environment. Her areas of interest include digital twin, digital technologies, integrations and adoption of technologies, data science and information management, carbon management, infrastructure systems resilience, and systems thinking in the built environment. Dr. Xu leads the Cognition X Lab at NUS, which aims to advance cognitive capabilities in managing the built environment by leveraging data science and AI techniques to create carbon digital twins. Dr. Xu, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen in the house and those online. So I think the proposition team has told us that automation was introduced because of the short of short of workforce, and that we agree. But the labor intensity decrease is limited. The jobs that can be automated on the very fragmented, very dynamic, very unique sites are limited. So a lot of the jobs cannot be, they are not as simple and as repetitive as we think they are. So it's difficult to automate those jobs. And so even with all these automation technologies already there, we still have a huge work shortage. Some numbers are like we may have 15% of job shortage in the sector, and hundreds of millions of jobs. And another point I would say, so I remember when I was a teenager, I thought autonomous car is going to be around the corner. So then what's the point to get a driving license to be able to drive the car? But yet, 2 decades later, I still need someone to drive me around. So this automation and this autonomous cars industry has just been created for that. And there are so many people working on that. There are so many jobs being created. And also, so for the construction robots, there are so many IT engineers, mechanical engineers, been working on this. So yes, maybe the labor intensity on the site is decreased, but that job is just shifted from the site to the IT offices or to the labs. So, and also on the output part, we have more to build. We have more works to be done, because we simply need more houses to provide people with the sufficient homes. We need more roads to connect the communities. We need more hospitals. We need better quality infrastructures. And more importantly, we need to maintain our existing houses, roads, railways, and all other infrastructure. And those are developed in the last thousands of years, and those environments are hard to be computed, to be like automated. So we have a severe climate challenge that put our infrastructure in test. So we need to enhance those existing infrastructure and also adapt them. And that simply also creates a lot of jobs, and that's a lot of work for us to do to make our built environment, sufficient, efficient, and beautiful. So we then have to create more jobs, and we can delegate some of the repetitive work to automation, but that is limited. We can't rely on the automation merely. Sorry. Also, with automation, we can then free ourselves with some of the tedious jobs, of course. So I think everyone would agree that, the invention of dishwasher, washing machine, and microwave oven did take some of the tedious chores from the women, and they freed the housewives. But we have more working moms. They still have a lot of work around the house, while they're also contributing to the society with more interesting jobs to do. And we may need less assistant quantity surveyor, or less bricklayer, or less painter, but we will need more architectural technologist, robotic engineer, computational designer, digital system engineer, metadata project manager, or digital engineering specialist. So what human needs to do is to upscale, rescale to fit these newer, better, and higher value, higher stake, more creative jobs. And those jobs are there. We simply need to free our capacity. And what we have always been very capable of doing is to update and to upscale. And even if it would be very nice if the robots can really work, they can do a lot of job for us, and then the man hours needed would be reduced. But then, why don't we work less hours? So we can let them to do all the boring and hazardous part of the job, and leave us more time to design and build houses that are more customized to our needs, to our taste, to our preference, to our identities. We do not really want identical houses across all our communities, right? So finally, I would like to conclude with that automation is one of the tools that humans use, and we decide what jobs to give to them, not they decide what jobs to take from us. And we are the decision makers. The decision of where and how far automation goes are within our hands, or our minds, and so also through which door you will go through later. And I believe our critical thinking, creative thinking, deep domain knowledge, and professional and ethical judgment are not replaceable, and they are needed. They will be needed more in the era of automation. And so that is my points. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Xu. Now I will take a round of floor speeches from the audience. These are 2-minute speeches or questions in proposition, opposition, or abstention. So would anyone like to speak in proposition? Go ahead, there is a microphone.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to the House. I'd like to talk a little bit about the data centers and the built environment that's generating. It's creating a whole bunch of new workforce. It's also creating a whole bunch of new technology that's emerging out of this space. So in addition to the speakers on this side, I'd also like to point out that automation of jobs is not just going to be a lateral increase. It's going to be a geometric increase. We're going to see many more jobs created. Think of it this way. So far, industrialization has only swept through the developed world. The developing world is yet to catch up. So when this new age of industrialization hits them, we're going to see a massive increase in jobs there. So Africa, Southeast Asia, South America, we're going to see a lot more digital environment being built in these spaces and a lot more increase in jobs due to this. We're also going to see an increase in we're also going to see new technology emerge as a result of the data centers and the AI boom. We're going to see the trickle-down effect of technology with the internet or the calculator, for example. It did not lead accountants redundant. It created more accountants. It created more need for accountants. We're going to see the same thing with automation and AI. Thank you.
So you are in opposition, not in proposition. So you are in opposition. So anyone in proposition?
I have trouble accepting the opposition's argument that demand will outpace displacement. I don't believe that pure capabilities will accelerate the built environment. I don't think a super intelligent consultant would have sped up, Heathrow's third runway. I think we can see that the demand for new buildings grows generally linearly, while the capabilities of automation have grown exponentially. Thank you.
Anyone else? Proposition or opposition?
Somewhere in the between, thank you so much. The big question for me is about who is going to do the job at the end of the day. Yes, we need people on the one hand. On the other hand, we need emerging technologies. Living in China, being with my students, designing and developing robots is a big thing. But at the end of the day, as Professor said, we are humans. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just my argument is that if we talk about the net job creation, if you talk about automation, you need an army of people to create these robotics, an army of people to maintain them, and an army of people to ship them to site and to manage the quality control and the processes. The other thing, some stats, for each data center created, you need about 50 to about 300 people working there. So net numbers, I think, will maybe stable or increased by automation. Thank you.
According to the industry and with feedback coming from nuclear manufacturing in particular, we need double the number of trainees for the industry to stand still. And that doesn't account for the reskilling and the upskilling and the people with different skills that need to enter the sector, particularly if we want to apply robotics and we talk about expertise on mechatronics and systems and robotics and so on and so forth. Yeah, I'll stop here.
Thank you. Thank you.
I want to try to argue for the proposition. I think the opposition made a point of the previous industrial revolution, 19th and 20th century, which is very convincing. But I would try to argue that AI is fundamentally different. The AI is improving itself day by day and doing lots of things we thought only humans can do. So with this change, there might not even be any job for us to do at all in the future.
Hi, thank you very much for both sides. I would like to bring up the question of sustainability into this debate. I teach sustainable construction, and there is a concept of pro-poor civil engineering, which debates whether it's worth accepting more efficient, expensive, heavy machinery versus giving a chance to local communities to work and earn money. So when AI is so powerful, we also know the impacts to the environment in terms of consumption of water, energy, so on and so forth. So maybe, yes, we will have technologies which will be super advanced, which can do more and produce more, but at the same time, will people take up those technologies? That's another question. Maybe they will decide to go for more labor-intensive, more sustainable technologies. And that's the question I have at the moment. Thank you.
Okay, so my contribution will align more to the proposition. So I think there will be an imbalance in the job market. So an example is, at first, we need 5 painters for, let's say, 10 meters square of building. And now, because we have robots, we will need 2 operators. So what about the artisans, the painters? What are they going to do? Yeah, so there will be new job creation, but others are going to lose their jobs. So there will be an imbalance. People are going to lose their jobs, but even checking the number of those who are going to lose their jobs and the new number of job creation, still we are going to lose jobs due to automation. Thank you.
Thank you. She was before here. Here she was. She was before asking. One second. She asked it before. Sorry, her first and then.
Thank you. I would like to suggest maybe we can see this question in an easier way, that we all believe or we all agree with the law, the supply and needs law of economics. Then if there is a supply meets the needs, then there's a job created. And I think the opposing party also provide same example to support it. Like by history, there are so many evolutions, and at that time, I think, although we think AI now is so dramatically changed, but at that time, I believe people also see those as a dramatic change. And so we can see with the history, although jobs might be shifted, but the number won't be reduced, because in the theory of economics, that supply and the need will meet the equipment, then the job will be created. Thank you.
Thank you. Please.
Yes, I would like to add an argument on the opposition side. And the fact is, whatever we create in terms of technology is actually to help life get better. I think that is one focal point that we need to replace in the center of this discussion. We are developing technology so that we can have a better life. So it means at a certain day, if the technology take over and we actually quantify, lose our jobs, then we're doing something wrong, basically. In another way, since we're like going into AI that supports our development, it should support our development in a way that we don't lose jobs, but we make qualitatively better jobs for the people around. Thank you very much.
In the back. No, in the back. They were jumping there. 1 second then.
So, on? Yeah. My point is, in general, when we look back at the Industrial Revolution, people worked 90 hours, and nowadays they work 40 hours. So working hours was really reduced, creating more jobs for the same product to actually be developed. Here comes now the government into play. How much do we actually need to work in the future to create enough jobs for everybody on a level of an income that we all can live comfortable?
Thank you. So there was someone here. Yeah. So before you, he was, and then back to you. I don't know with the two of you. You are too near each other.
Me?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was curious about, like, why is it bad that jobs will decrease, like, related to this? Because we put focus on STEM before, like science, technology, engineering, math. But I feel like as we develop, we can just change it to STEAM, where we've put more focus on arts and its like usage in technology, because we can make things more like, I guess, artistic. And I think art is like a reflection of humans, and that's why we put a lot of emphasis in it in history.
Thank you. Back to the back.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm Vikas Lamsal from Waseda University, Japan. So I don't think that this is the topic for debating. Everybody knows that. In some countries, we are facing human workforce, so we're trying to do automation-related things, like in Japan. All the people are getting old, the experienced workers are getting old, so we're focusing on the construction-related robots. But we don't think that it's going properly. We still have to rely on the workers as well. And the next thing is that everybody is using ChatGPT, Gemini. All the AI tools are there. But do you think that AI tools are giving you the proper results? Are they giving you the 100% accurate results? We have to check it properly. Even for that, we need human resource. But as a researcher and a person working with robotics, developing new technologies, we have to keep in fact that, for example, as academic, it's the AI tools are making very much easy for me to create the syllabus. It's making my courses very easy to generate. Even a lot of people are using ChatGPT and Gemini for even making the PowerPoints. That's reducing our time. But you need to check it properly. So we need the proper person who can check it properly. And the next thing is that the computer engineers who are just relying on ChatGPT and only the new technologies, they are not going to get the real jobs. Instead, they are going to work in the construction sites. They have to charge the robots. They have to control the robot-related things. But the real person who can control those automation and technologies can only rely on this real world. So I think that it's not the things to debate, and nobody's gonna lose the job. Instead, we're going to create a lot of jobs. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. I'm a little nervous. This is one of the first debates where I'm making a comment. It's an honor to be here. It really is amazing being here. Now to actually address the conversation here. I think there was a failure on the side that automation will reduce jobs to properly address the number of jobs reducing. I think the painting demonstration was a pretty hasty generalization, because there are a growing number of volatile, I can say growing number, but I can say there's a vast number of volatile environments that AI and automation is incapable of attacking. They said that their time span was in the next few decades, and honestly, at the rate of development, artificial intelligence is just incapable of having the adaptability that is shown in brains, in neural networks that are natural, not synthetic. And the world, and this might be post hoc, but the world tends to create more jobs as it develops. I mean, back then when our life was simple as hunting and gathering, that's only 2 jobs. As life continues, now there's HR, now there's engineers, now there's, not only does the variety increase, but the sheer number increases. As development continues, there's just a lot more jobs, so.
And then you're done. Okay.
Yeah, I've been following all the conversations with a very high interest, but something we probably missing here is that our expectation and perception from future with the emerging technologies is going to be different. And again, the environmental concerns Like, for example, in Brussels is the first city in the Europe that they banned any new build and they are enforcing circularity and refurbishment instead. So if we look at from that point of view to our future construction works, our work is not going to be mass-produced off-site construction. Yes, off-site and robotics, everything will contribute to that retrofit, but it's going to be a different story. So the amount of job created for us, it's going to be way beyond the capability of the construction workers. If we multiply it 1,000 again, we will not have enough workforces, and we need the new technologies to come and help. Again, looking at the technology, we should remember that the world is not only industry, construction industry, we have other technologies, and AI and digital technologies are developing for their own sake. And all these data centers, all these infrastructure need new workforces to build. And again, we will be building them in a different way than we would be doing in the past, but all of this needs workers. But from my own experience, we can accelerate construction works by automizing some of the activities, but I don't really think it's really worth to develop robots to work in that autonomous capability of human being stripping out the plaster boards and all this kind of retrofit in a real scale. So all of those jobs again would be carried out by human being, but only some of these advanced solutions will come and help us fill this gap that our buildings are leaking a lot of the energy created, and we need a lot of retrofit.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's absolutely amazing conversation, and of course the topic is utmost importance, and everyone thinking about ourselves, our staying, our jobs as well because of AI. Me personally believe AI is changing and will change and completely change the way how the people work, think, and communicate with the computers. But also being on the side of from the industry, just raising a concern that are we trying with robotics and AI to replicate the processes which been designed 2,000 years ago when the pyramids being constructed? Maybe AI should be directed towards the invention of new material. Maybe we will cancel the concrete, which is enormous downside of the construction. We will change the processes, the way how the buildings being built and operated. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I think that she is the last one.
So thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the conference organizers for such a unique opportunity. So I'm Diksha from University of Tokyo, Japan. So I would like to propose a new angle to the whole discussion. So till now, we have heard two views. One side said that if we automate, so we need, say, one robot or a few robotics engineers to replace hundreds of workers. So that means the number of jobs are reduced. Then the another side said that if we tried to replace the driving job, we had to have such a large scale of automotive industry. So I would like to propose it keeping the humans at the center, not the job. So as a human, if my job is automated, so I will simply shift to do something else. So rather than focusing on which jobs are created or which jobs are reduced, if we simply look at from the human point of view. So if you take my job, I will simply shift to another. So how does it matter? Like whether the automation is reducing some of the jobs or not. So thank you.
Thank you. So, you want to talk?
Can I say one point?
Yes.
Sure. I would like to maybe address the last speakers to say that I think there's still a point there that has not been clarified. On one side, the proposition team is claiming that, I mean, of course, automatic is the opposite of manual, and automate means less manual labor, hence less jobs. But this is not antithetical to needing more infrastructure, which means that the total number of jobs could theoretically go up. We have a desire to build more, which means more jobs as a whole. And perhaps automation can help us reduce jobs in some areas to help redirect human capital in other areas. So I don't think you're disagreeing with each other, but you still have an argument, and we have to evaluate that argument. So can you please focus on that? Thank you.
Thank you, Yanis. As a moderator, for me, I may stand in the middle. You know, the automation changes jobs, automation changes type of jobs, automation also changes the task, changes the type of task in the built environment. So let's back to the chairman for the next. Thank you.
So going back to the proposition team, sorry, our third speaker is Peter Large. Peter is a retired senior technology executive in the industry with experience in the digital transformation and automation of geospatial, civil engineering, building construction and transportation industries. He has served on a number of boards in the industry and currently serves as an external steering board member of the Digital Roads of the Future initiative. He holds a BSc in Surveying and Mapping Sciences from Newcastle and a postgraduate diploma in Strategy and Innovation from Oxford, a master's degree in management from Stanford Graduate School of Business, and a Doctor of Education degree from Oklahoma State. He began his career as a civil engineer surveying, working on infrastructure projects in the UK, Middle East, and Africa. Pete, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the House. So we've heard a lot of interesting opinions there, and thank you for the audience contributions. Very diverse and helpful. And of course, this is a big topic of debate right now, and I think is on a lot of people's minds. Let's go back to the motion for a second. This House believes that automation, and let's say accelerated by AI, will reduce the number of jobs in the built environment. So not in the world in general, not across the whole economy. And if jobs move, by the way, from construction to manufacturing, that's a reduction of jobs in the built environment, just to be clear, the scope of the motion. And also, the motion doesn't specify a timeline, it doesn't specify a quantity. So in principle, if you believe there'll be one job less 20 years from now because of automation, then the door to pick is the one that says I on the right, just to be clear. Okay? But we don't have to go that extreme. Now, Professor Isaac started his opening address, his beautiful, eloquent opening address, with a simple equation. And I believe you can summarize this whole debate in this simple equation. So let me just recap that. He said that the jobs in the built environment is a function of two things. It's the amount of labor you need per unit of output times the total output. Simple equation. Okay? I started my career hammering stakes in the ground and spent 30 years trying to get rid of them, which was surprisingly difficult. But let's take earth moving as an example. When the great canals and railways were built in Britain in the 18th and 19th century, you had armies of laborers with picks and shovels digging by hand. Go to a modern, stakeless, grade control site like HS2, and you will see substantially fewer people needed per cubic meter of earth moved. I would have said that no reasonable person actually would argue the first term in the equation, that is, the labor required per unit of output isn't coming down over time and won't continue to go down over time, but that didn't apparently stop the opposition from trying. But labor intensity, the amount of labor you need per unit of output, for sure has come down over time, and it's for sure going to accelerate going forward. And as one of the contributors from the audience said, it's going to happen exponentially, actually. And if you think about also that first term in the equation, There's a very important point that was brought up from the audience about what we refer to as the loop, which is that AI is now improving itself. When you see a new version of Claude or ChatGPT, that's not humans developing it. It's AI now improving itself. And so the humans become the bottleneck. And that's happening in computer science and computer engineering today. It won't stop there. So it will have an impact on the labor market. The other term in the equation is the total output. And the basic economic argument that Professor Kerali articulated, and also some of the other members of the audience, it's okay because labor automation will reduce the number, the laborious, less skilled entry-level jobs. I think it's harder to argue that won't happen. But don't worry, because it's more productive, there'll be more demand for construction, and therefore total output will go up, and therefore jobs will stay the same or get bigger. And it's not a completely unreasonable argument, because if you actually look, take my own example from the canals and the railways, although there's a lot fewer people with shovels today, there's actually more people employed in the industry today than there were then. And so it's not a completely unreasonable argument. So then you say, okay, what has changed? Why would we take a different view? Let me give you another example from an adjacent industry, which is agriculture. 100 years ago, 14% of the employment base in the UK was in agriculture. You know what it is today? 1.4%. Striking statistic. That's a collapse, actually, in the labor market. Why? It's about the rate of change. The rate of change, and it came from the audience as well, of automation and productivity in agriculture was 10 times the rate of change of output and the rate of change of demand growth. And we have that risk in construction. It's easy to say, yeah, okay, well, automation is going to reduce the number of jobs, so we're just going to build more. And as somebody said, okay, let's go build a third runway at Heathrow. Nice and easy, right? How long did it take to get HS2 approved and funded? The world we live in is actually harder to get funding, and it's harder to get approval. And so you can't assume that the rate of change of demand and output is going to outpace the rate of change of labor productivity, especially in the era that we're about to go into. Labor economists, by the way, labor economists who also are debating this topic have no consensus on the topic, and there is a school of thought, which is sort of the alarmist school, which is arguing exactly that point. The example of ag I just gave you, which is the alarming thing is the rate of change and the ability of the economy and, frankly, society to keep up with that. So our argument, by the way, we're not Luddites. Don't think that we're Luddites. We're not. We all three are huge advocates of technology. We believe in technology. We're excited about technology. We think that we're entering an era as fundamentally important in history as the Industrial Revolution was, which somebody brought up. But we also believe that the transition has to be managed. If you take examples from the Industrial Revolution, the great economist Ricardo grappled with the same question which is before the House tonight, and he changed his mind over the course of his career. When he was younger and perhaps less experienced, he was more sympathetic to the opposition and took the no route. When he was older and wiser, he took the I route. And the reason why is he saw what happened during the Industrial Revolution when the rate of change of technology got ahead of the ability of the economy and society to adapt. And so we don't know what's going to happen. Either outcome that's been presented to you is possible. Our ask to you to support the I cause and walk through the I door is that to deny that the automation, which is a good thing ultimately in the industry, is going to happen, is to miss an opportunity to manage it proactively and responsibly. So our argument to support the proposition is that let's embrace the fact that although this is for the greater good in the long run, we all have a responsibility as stakeholders in the industry and as society in general to proactively manage the transition, because it is going to be disruptive for certain groups and in certain areas of the labor force. And you can't say for sure that the equation is going to hold, that the number of jobs in total will be greater than it is today. It's about probabilities, as Professor Isaac said. That's our case. I thank you.
Thanks, Pete. So now our final speaker of the evening, Professor Jakob Beetz. He researcher and taught at TU Eindhoven and RWTH in Aachen for more than 20 years in the fields of artificial intelligence in AEC. His work includes fundamentals on knowledge engineering and data science in building information modeling, digital twins, and broader topics of automation and in construction. He started to program concrete printers in 2015, created the first version of agentic cooperative planning and construction in 2006, and co-authored and edited handbooks on building information model that are widely used in the education and industry. His current research focuses on sustainability, construction planning, predictive maintenance on aging infrastructure, and urgent needs to limit the impact of the built environment on the natural environment. Professor Beetz, you have the ears of the house.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction. Let me start my rebuttal with a tweet from not too long ago by Joanna Majewska, who's a Polish writer, and says, "I want AI to do my laundry and my dishes so that I can do my art and my writing, and not AI to do my writing and my art so that I can do more dishes and my laundry." And the same proposition, and the same was proposed by the proposing party. And we do believe, that yes, indeed, we need more automation, and we need more of including AI, and we need more of the backbreaking jobs to be taken over by machines. But we need humans in the loop to control this, and we need humans in the loop to make the decisions. And I will give you 3 lines of argument along with a very valuable input from the audience that goes along these lines. Building is not manufacturing, and by the way, it's also not agriculture. Agriculture we escaped the Malthusian hunger gap and reduced the number of workers in agriculture because we had fertilizer. So that brought down the number of, and it's a very repetitive, very repetitive, year in, year out, the same crop, the same automatable things that you can build machines for in a very controlled environment. My second point will be that we will never have the training data we need in the complexity that is our built environment, similar to that we can have in, let's say, self-driving cars, or let's say in a factory shop where we churn out car after car. My third point is going to be that building ultimately is decision-making, craft is decision-making, and that is very hard, if not impossible, to automate by machines that have no human agency. Now, let me come back to my first point on why building is not manufacturing. We have had this discussion in the community for many decades now, but particularly and that was also contributed by the audience, particularly in the age of retrofitting, where the IPCC climate report tells us to stop building so many new things, but to reuse the things that we already have scraped from the crust of the earth and piled on top of each other, and that single glass wall paint, single glass glasses still evaporate energy. So in that, to retrofit, we need that cannot be automated on that scale. We have to carefully and individually and carefully treat the things that generations before us have built, and that's nothing that we can automate so easily. Also, pre-made manufacturing, as Henry Ford said it, you can have the Model T in any color you like, as long as it's black. We just heard you can have your house painted by 2 instead of 8 pointers, as long as it's gray. So the proposition is asking us to build more gray cities, and we think that is not the way forward. Number 2, the data that we will need to train for this complexity that we already have, that is our built environment. Look at the beautiful rooms like this. We will never get it. We're a very bad industry at storing data, at sharing data. We're actually demolishing data as soon as our liability ends because it's risky to keep it, right? We throw it out the window. We have 130 different trades from which we would need to collect data. And that is not going to happen. Look at the automotive industry. Hundreds of billions have went into this over the last decades. All of us have labeled data for them by identifying captures. This is a car, this is a sign, 30 object categories, and we all have created billions of data labels for 30 object categories. Look at this room. Is there anywhere near the complexity? Is there anywhere near the complexity that we need in order to train more of that data? So I think that is rather impossible.
Point of information?
Yes, please.
You can use the painting robot to paint your wall in any color you desire. First one. Secondly, the painting robot will use machine vision to map the room or space that you want to paint, whatever its shape.
But thank you for that rebuttal. But what about? But who makes the decision which color is going to be painting, and who's going to change the color, and so forth? So there's lots of room still for somebody to oversee what's happening when you change colors. And the third and my last point is that designing and engineering and crafting is decision making. Already today, we can have 100,000 different variations in a multi-parameter space churned out by a computer system that in nanoseconds, in no time, and create different variations in a big parametric space. What we cannot do, automate, is to make the choice of what of these combinations, of these permutations of parameters is the good one. We have to balance this as human engineers. We have to balance as craftsmen on site, as craftspeople on site, which decision to make. And that is something that ultimately only can be done by humans. Decision can only be done by humans. So in the end, what these systems, we urgently need every hand on deck because we have a quite dramatic task before us to accelerate the retrofitting, to build more houses for the people that don't have houses at the moment. So we need all hands on deck, including the robotic ones, right? They're welcome on board to do the backbreaking, to do the dirty, to do the laborious, to do the boring things. The same goes for engineering decisions. The same goes for designing. But ultimately, we want these machines, including AI, we want these machines to help us make better design decisions, to support us in decision making, and not to have the other way around, so that we can sweep the floors. But we want the machines to sweep the floors, to do the boring parts, so that we can build better built environment. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jakob, for your speech. So as I said before, in this house, we vote with our feet. So please walk through the eyes door and nose door, or through the middle door to abstain. As a reminder, to motion we have debated is, this house believes automation will reduce the number of jobs in the built environment. A bell will be rung in 10 minutes or so, and you ask that everyone return to the chamber so we can announce the winning team. Thank you very much.
also there for you.
No, I don't vote. I cannot
we go
vote.
out now. We need the answers from your counters. Okay? They should have finished counting. They told me the answer. 44 for yes, 49 for yes. Yeah. So we will announce the result. You have to write it down somewhere. Write it down.
And how many abstain?
44, 49.
How many
Zero?
abstain?
How many
Some people abstained.
In the middle.
don't know. I asked.
Please find out.
Yeah.
Please. So write down this. If you have any place to write notes. 44 ayes, 49 nays, if I understand well.
44 eyes. Can you wait?
Which is actually a very good result because it's close. We want it to be close. And you need to write down the number of abstains.
She doesn't know.
She's coming back now.
She's not going to get because they went from the doors in the middle.
And nobody was counting. You have to count the abstains.
She's never going to get everyone
Wait.
back in the meeting.
Wait.
They didn't count?
Six abstains.
Yeah.
6 abstains. All right. Last bit for the three of us to decide. Best presenter. Who was the best presenter?
The one that didn't put me to sleep, Peter.
Peter. I agree too. Wait, what do you think?
With one moment, I take some notes.
The first one is very good.
Shabtai.
Shabtai is here.
Henry.
Shabtai is this side.
Who would you
And,
vote? I like both of them.
You mean Shabtai or?
No.
No.
Peter or Kerali?
Peter or Henry?
This one. Shabtai is here. Peter is the third.
Yeah, the last one.
Yeah, last one.
Which one did you like?
I like her a little bit better, but Peter is also.
You like Kerali a little bit better, so Kerali.
No.
No, the three of us.
I like both of them.
I like both.
So
of them
let's go
too.
with Henry.
So you like
Yeah.
it a little bit more. So
Because I also can't, about the time right now. At one moment.
Yes, we're waiting for you.
Peter is okay, but he exists at the time. He spent 7 minutes, 30 seconds.
yeah, but let's
It's
not
fine,
go
it's
there.
fine. It's the best
No,
presenter.
but who would think that was the best one?
Yeah,
We
so-
are okay with both. You said that you think that Henry was a
I think
little
both
better.
are good. So if you both agree, I think we
But
can go for Peter.
Henry team is the one that won.
Pardon?
The opposition team won.
So,
This time
so
we-
let's make him the best one, the team that won. Let's not give the best team that
Okay.
lost.
So let's go with Henry, okay?
Henry, here.
Yes.
So they will get the win.
best
team,
is
and also
present.
the best. Okay.
You okay with that?
I'm okay. Yeah, sure.
Let's do that.
Nothing for losers.
American style, great. I'll get everybody in. You announce the results, and then we have to give the awards.
Yeah,
you
give
have
the
the
award.
awards.
Yeah, we have.
So for each result,
Yeah.
you then
I need to invite
you need to pass
Where
in
is the vote?
the present.
Someone wrote the vote someplace and changed the page.
Pardon?
You changed the page where the results are.
No, the results there. No. Sorry. For the final
Yes,
results
here.
here. Yeah.
Please keep
here.
this page. Right.
Yeah. And
When he
we-
announces the results, give him
pass
these
to-
to pass to
I
you.
also invite you to come.
It's okay. You don't need me. You do that. Okay? That's fine.
Okay.
Right. And you invite the photographer to take pictures. We need you here.
Yeah. So.
But then we have to ask him to rush upstairs to do that. And it's hard to get a good picture from up there. I don't know. Guys, how do you do group pictures? How do you do a group picture? That corner.
We have had people where everyone goes one side and the photographer is here.
Sounds good. We can ask them to do that in a minute. Right.
You can announce the team first. One team, we pass the gift, and another team. And the final announce the best speaker.
Oh. Yeah, so I did the winner, I do I tell the number of ayes, number of no's, number of abstain.
So everyone, it's the exciting moment. So we hand back to our chairman.
Okay, so you have the results. Was very tight results. So both groups did a wonderful job. So you have 44 ayes, 49 no's, and and 9 abstained. So it was pretty. From the ones that I participated here, I think that was the one that was very. So now we are going to give some gifts to each members of the team. So for the proposition team, so Shabtai Isaac, Varun Rej, and Pete Large. So you are.
We would like to invite you.
I want to give it. Okay. So I have to give it. Yes. Come here. Congratulations.
It's like a degree ceremony.
Thank you.
Okay, picture.
Photo time, yeah.
I think we can go.
Come here. I'm the only not in black tie, so now I look bad.
Okay.
Here we go.
Thank you. So now for the winning team. Okay, so they are bigger, you see. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Picture.
It's a robot.
Come here.
Thank you. And now
Thank
a joint picture.
Thank you.
Can we have a joint
No.
picture?
You can sit down.
No, a picture of everyone together. Come.
All together, yeah.
I'll come on this side.
No, mix. No, mix. Come on, it's not left and right, so you should be.
No, we stick together.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, here we go. 2, 3. Always another one. And always one more.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So now the last thing is the gift for the best speaker that was selected and was Henry. You are selected the best speaker.
That's a surprise. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Over there.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So what next?
Next is a group photo. So we need your
group photo.
Yeah.
You always have group photos here.
Go to upstairs. Yeah. Yeah. So I would like to ask everyone come to this side. So we will take a photo from that side. Yeah.
Like a soccer team.
Yes.
Yeah. Lucy. Oh, yeah.
You want to sit here?
Oh, I would like. Oh.
Yes.
I look down at all of them. We don't even see where the photographer is. putting the flash makes any difference here.
Well done. Just tell everyone on the microphone, see you tomorrow, we're done.
Oh, yeah. So thank you everyone joining us today. And especially thanks our debater speaker, our chairman, and also our organizing committee. And I hope you enjoy tonight. And looking forward to meeting you tomorrow morning in the conference. Thank you, everyone.